Bruce Weinstein. He's the president of Weinstein Wealth Insurance Solutions, LLC. So Bruce is actually, he's been on the show before.
Yes!
We did have, he gave us a wealth of knowledge about health insurance and everything. So
also
now we're
known
going to learn more.
as Ask the Plan Man. Thank you. Oh my gosh, how cute. I love that he always has himself. Like, it's really, I love it.
Yeah. So this is my
Tired of stinky advice.
Tired of stinky advice.
This is great.
Hanging in front of the mirror.
Freshener. They're at the chamber.
gosh.
You can pick them up.
At first, I thought it was a Christmas tree ornament because I seen the little string, but then
It could be. You could put them on your tree too. So, you do a lot of different things that we need to tell people about. But my favorite thing is how approachable you are on these subjects. You're not stuffy and stiff and scary. You know, because when you're talking about insurance, sometimes it can be intimidating.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about you and your business, how you got started.
Well, I'm doing this a long time, since 1986. And I think
Here I was born.
and
Wow!
yeah, I like saying that. And
No,
I'll say,
that is great.
with the yellow
but no,
sun-
and they're all dying. But I think that is though, and I say that because that is, you know what you're talking about. You're not a guy who just decided you're going to do this on the weekend and dabble. This is your career.
Yeah, it's serving people. It's taking information that's very confusing. People tend to avoid. They don't want to deal with things, especially when we're talking about insurance, life insurance especially, like it's not going to happen to me, so I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
So there's people out there that are book smart that necessarily don't relate to people properly or the way you need to be related to. And so one of my strengths has always been to communicate and educate at your level, not necessarily at my level.
Right.
I could be in a room of professionals and speak on different things, and your head's going to swirl. So I need to be able to bring it down to your level of education, answer questions. So what we talk about is your SWOT, your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And we start to break that down as we're assessing each person's situation, because what's right for you is not necessarily applicable for you.
That's amazing, because I think, like, especially, and I'm going to speak from the perspective of a female, sometimes we get mansplained, and you go and you're already there talking about something that nobody wants to think about dying. You don't want to think about all of that. It's already stressful. And then you're like talked to like you can't comprehend. I'm like, no, I understand what you're saying. I just need you to tell me how the plans work and how this works. And I think so the fact that you're able to meet people where they're at and not assume that everybody didn't do any research, I think is important, because for those of us who want to be treated with respect when we're talking about something difficult.
Right. So if and then let's say if I have a family,
Well, you do have a family. I was like, what do you mean? Where'd they go? I was like, where did they go?
You have another family.
So the thing is with the family, just in looking from the viewer standpoint, what's something that you would say bare minimum when it comes to life insurance that everybody needs?
Well, there's different types of insurance.
Sure.
And depending on the situation and the circumstances, we talk about the basic 5 areas what you need life insurance for. So you mentioned a family, a young family starting out. So you could fill those gaps with very inexpensive term insurance. But it would be mortgage protection. I have a mortgage. These days, both family members work in a situation. But back in the day, it used to be dad worked, mom stayed home. That was the prototypical situation. Well, if dad didn't come home someday, what's mom going to do to keep paying the bills, replace his income, not lose the house? Oh, and by the way, save for college for the kids at the same time. So those are the early stage things, and very inexpensive for a young couple to fill that gap using what's called term insurance. Term life insurance is like renting. You don't really build up any equity. Versus permanent insurance would be like buying a house with a mortgage, paying the mortgage down over time, where you own the house at the end of that window. So permanent life insurance would be something you would own and you can't outlive. So that might be used for estate planning purposes. It might be used for funding trusts for those who might maybe have special needs, children or situations. They need to leave money behind for their kids. Pension planning, retirement planning. So again, timing is everything. That's where the SWOT comes in. I always joke, say, you tell me when you're going to die and I'll give you the perfect financial plan. Tell me what's going to happen and when it's going to happen, and we can make it work. So you're planning for the unexpecteds that go on, and that's what insurance is all about. It's nothing more than a pool of everybody's money, literally put together in a pot to then take care of as situations
And
arise.
I think your point is too that everybody thinks, oh, I got forever. I'm gonna live to be 100 years old. I mean, that's what we all hope for, but you don't know. Things happen every day. And I think being prepared is one of the best things that you can offer, especially if you have a family. So for people who are wondering, like, how do I even, I want to come work with you, but I don't even know where to start. I'm just confused. Can they come and see you too?
Sure, of course. So 2 things. The podcast, Ask the Plan Man, is promoting financial literacy. That's what this is about. There's a lack of good advice. There's a lack of knowing where to get advice. And people think they have to necessarily pay for that advice, which is not always true. In the insurance world, we're paid by the insurance companies.
So if I go to an insurance person and I say, oh, well, can you help me? And they say, you owe me money to talk about this, that's wrong.
Usually, yes. It certainly depends on what their business practice is. Now, there's fee-based financial advisors that do charge hourly. They require certain credentials to do that, and obviously we'll disclose it.
Yes.
Somebody who's purely insurance compensated, we don't set the prices. There's no, if you get a quote from Progressive, it's going to be the same everywhere you go for the exact coverage.
Got it.
Where people will be a little bit unscrupulous is they'll knock down the levels of coverage, underinsuring you to give you the price that you think you can manage in your budget.
And now when something happens, you think you're covered. You're like,
and
hold
you're like,
up.
what?
Right.
Oh, that's scary.
As an example, in the auto insurance, there's what's called state minimum. But that's not necessarily the level of coverage most of us should take. There's a reason there's a minimum to cover some liabilities. In Florida, you also have the necessity for uninsured motorist insurance. That literally will double your premiums. So when you're shopping for coverages and you're looking at price, you got to make sure that you're actually getting the coverage.
Apples to apples, too.
Because it's true. I mean, I won't get into it, but that's something that my family just dealt with. And the fact that we had done the work and had the proper planning really is going to save us in the long run, because my husband was severely injured and we needed, to do all these things, and the other person didn't have all that insurance, but we did.
The basic, right?
The basic, just the basic. So, here we are, and now because we did that work, and I think that's important for people to come to someone like you who knows this and can say, no, you can get that cheaper insurance, but if something happens to you, you're going to be up the creek and having to pay out of pocket.
That's right.
And medical expenses these days are high. So, you want to make sure that you are doing the work. So for people who want to learn more, because I think that this podcast is a great way to get information. And then obviously, if you need help to reach out, how can they find you? Where do they find your podcast?
So you can go to the podcast on YouTube at planman.tv or any podcast channel, Ask the Plan Man, Apple, Spotify, the like. It's on 38 stations. And then our business is WeinsteinWealth.com. So that's a full-blown insurance information, pages and pages, videos, content for you, again, to self-educate. And then certainly if we're a fit, you're welcome to call us for a consultation. If you're outside the area, around the country, but we are licensed in half the country. So we do business up and down the East Coast, Arizona, California, Nevada. So we can be licensed in every state as needed, but we're licensed in 25 states right now.
So for people who are out there and you haven't done the work to make sure that you or your family are taken care of, ask the Plan Man. Have him come and help you.
I think at the bare minimum, at least just go for a consultation.
Sure.
Check out the podcast, go for a consultation so that you can see what the options are for you. So that's really big.
The best result is you get the handshake and say, you know what, you've covered it all. You're great. Congratulations. But in 37 years, it doesn't happen very often. There's always some vulnerabilities out there to still address. And so we just want to tighten that up for people. And you could be 95% of the way there, but that 5% could still be devastating.
And that could be the one thing, the one incident. Well, thank you so much for all of your info. It's so nice to see you again. And I can't wait. We're going to be seeing him every day now. We're going to see him every day. I love it. I love it on his shirt. Thank you so much.